Okay, I want you to imagine something for a second. The whole world just holds its breath. The silence is absolute. And then a deep hum begins. Not something you hear with your ears, but something you feel deep in your bones. The ground itself starts to tremble, but not violently. It's more like a life-giving pulse. And from the dust of ages, you see these forms starting to rise, but not as they were. They're bodies of pure, incorruptible light. And the air, it fills with this otherworldly fragrance, a scent you've never known but somehow have always remembered. Like the Garden of Eden itself is finally exhaling. Now this isn't some scene from a movie, it's a vision of resurrection, a kind of cosmic reboot described in the deepest mystical texts.
And this whole vision, it's actually built on an ancient promise, like this one right here, from a commentary on a very, very deep text. It says, 13 will establish them in mercy, and they shall be renewed as they were at first. Now pay close attention to the wording. It doesn't just say they'll be brought back to life. It says they will be renewed, as they were at first. You see, this isn't just about resuscitating a body. We're talking about a total restoration to a perfect, primordial state. And that really sets the stage for the profound mystery we're going to unpack today.
So that gets us right to the heart of our explainer. We have this incredible, almost cinematic vision of a world being reborn. But how does it actually work according to these sources? Is this all just an article of faith, a miracle that's totally beyond our comprehension? Or, and this is the interesting part, is there a blueprint buried in these ancient texts, a system, a kind of cosmic physics that actually governs the greatest event in history?
Well, let's just dive right in, because the answer you get from these mystical sources is a big, resounding yes. There is a system. And to make sense of this ancient secret, we're going to ground it in a really modern analogy. So for a minute, I want you to forget everything you think you know about resurrection, and instead think of it as a complete, flawless, cosmic system reboot. Think about any system restore, right? Whether it's on your computer or, on a cosmic scale, you need certain components for it to work. You've got the machine itself, you've got the data that's stored on it, and you've got the signal that tells it when to reboot. So to really understand this cosmic event, we first have to understand the components of the system we call a human being.
So first up, you've got the hardware. And what is that? It's the body. The Zohar describes our physical form as being made of 4 fundamental elements: fire, water, air, and dust. Now, in our current reality, this body is a magnificent piece of machinery, but it's a temporary, local machine. It processes all of our experiences, it runs the programs of our life, but just like any physical hardware in this world, it's subject to wear and tear, and eventually, decay. Next, and this is maybe the most crucial part, you've got the data. That's the soul, the neshama. And this isn't just some program running on the hardware. This is the core data. It's the unique, eternal source code of who you are. The ancient texts talk about a place called the treasury of souls, where every single soul is kept safe. You can think of this as the ultimate cosmic cloud. Your data, your very essence, is never lost. It's never corrupted or deleted. It is perfectly, persistently backed up. And finally, every reboot needs that trigger, right? That activation signal. How does the system even know when to reboot? Well, according to our sources, that trigger is something called the fragrance of Eden. The Hebrew word for it is reach. And this isn't just a nice smell, it's a divine transmission. It's like a cosmic API call that pings the dormant hardware, awakens it from the dust, and kicks off the flawless download of your persistent data, your soul, from that cosmic cloud. And this analogy just perfectly nails the concept, doesn't it? Our life here, in this world, is like working on a local machine. The hardware is temporary, and the machine itself is vulnerable. But the resurrection, the world to come, that's the full migration to a perfected, divine cloud server. The hardware gets upgraded to a permanent architecture, and your incorruptible essence is restored to run on it forever. The system isn't local anymore, it's fully integrated into the divine mainframe. Let's break this down another way. For all the gamers out there, just imagine you finished a huge, complex level. Your character dies, but it is not game over. You respawn. But you don't just come back as you were. Oh no, you respawn in a glowing, perfected world with an upgraded, permanent body. You keep all your experience points, all your memories, but now you have invincible armor and flawless stats. You're ready for the ultimate next level. And then, for the engineers, the architects, the adults in the room, we can put it a bit more precisely. Think of it as a masterclass in cosmic engineering. The core principle here is data persistence. Your soul's data is never lost. The event itself is a system restoration of the highest possible order.
The core data is retrieved from its divine repository, a brand new, perfected physical architecture is rendered, and then the two are reintegrated. And the result? A single, luminous, and totally eternal state. A perfect system restore.
Okay, so we've got the big picture, we've got the analogy, but now let's actually look under the hood at the source code itself. How does this system actually work? Well, the mystical texts describe a kind of divine operating system and architecture of spiritual forces that makes this whole reboot possible. And the entire system is built on two absolutely crucial numbers.
So that first number is 13. And if you remember from our opening quote, that's a big one. 13 represents the divine attributes of mercy. Now, in Kabbalah, mercy isn't just a feeling. It's a real supernal flow of energy, a transmission from the highest levels of reality. You can think of it like the master command, the pseudo-reboot that overrides all system decay, all the laws of nature as we know them, and kicks off the process of absolute renewal. It's mercy that powers this entire operation.
And then we have the number 5. This represents 5 core spiritual programs or sefirot that are explicitly called life. You can almost think of them as the essential software that runs on the new hardware. Chesed, which is loving kindness, Gevurah, or strength, Tiferet, harmony, Netzach, endurance, and Hod, which is splendor. And these aren't just abstract ideas, they are the fundamental building blocks, the architectural pillars that form the very structure of the renewed, perfected, living form.
So let's see how this all clicks together to build this kind of divine operating system. Okay, at the very base, you have Malkut, which means kingdom. This is our physical reality, the plane of existence we're on right now. In our analogy, this is the hardware, the vessel. Then you have Yesod, meaning foundation, which connects that hardware to the spiritual source. It's the channel linking the spiritual and physical worlds. Think of it as the data port, the critical connection that lets the soul's data flow into the body. And at the very center of it all is Tiferet, which means harmony. This is your core processor. It's the great harmonizing principle that integrates all the other forces, balancing everything to make sure the whole system operates in perfect unity.
You know, what's just absolutely fascinating is how the Zohar actually describes this whole process using color. It talks about a shift from red to white. Red, the color of blood and of din, or judgment, represents our current physical state, our mortality, our limitations. The resurrection process is a purification, a cosmic refinement that transforms this red into pure white, the color of chesed, of mercy. It's the state where the physical is totally illuminated by the spiritual. The hardware doesn't limit the data anymore, it expresses it perfectly.
So, we've looked at the architecture, the divine OS, but what about the moment it all goes down? Let's zoom in on that trigger, that moment of activation, when the signal is sent and the system restoration protocol actually begins.
Believe it or not, the sources lay out a super clear, step-by-step process for how this cosmic reboot actually happens. First, shaking the dust. A divine dew comes down and awakens a single incorruptible bone. This is like the system's BIOS, the foundational element that the new hardware is built from. Second, rebuilding the form. The physical hardware is perfectly reconstructed, totally cleansed of any past flaw. It's like a factory reset, but way better. Third, the soul's descent. The core data, your soul, downloads from the cosmic cloud and returns to its new vessel. Fourth, the divine infusion. That fragrance of Eden, our activation signal, fuses the soul and body together. This is the final initialization, the moment the system goes live. And finally, perfection. They're one integrated unit, a being of pure light. The reboot is complete.
So this is really important. This fragrance is so much more than just a scent. It's a really deep, multi-layered concept. It's that tangible scent of paradise that Adam supposedly smelled at the entrance to the Garden of Eden. It's the divine life force, the actual energy that awakens those sleeping in the dust. It's the reinitialization signal for the soul-body connection. And what's really fascinating is that the Zohar actually says that one of the names for the Messiah is Riach, or fragrance, because he is the one who will usher in this whole era. This scent is the very atmosphere of the world to come.
Okay, so the reboot's complete. The soul and body are reunited. What now? What's the final result? What's the nature of this new, permanent existence? I mean, what does it actually feel like to be a resurrected being?
Well, the final state is just one of absolute perfection, total permanence. The sources are incredibly clear on this. This new body is an eternal architecture. It cannot decay, it cannot get sick, it cannot die.
And that internal conflict that defines so much of our existence, that battle between our higher self and our lower inclinations, that's over. The evil inclination is completely removed from the system. As the prophet Isaiah says, death is swallowed up forever. The hardware is no longer a vulnerability. It's a source of eternal stability.
And it's not just a physical perfection, it's a luminous one. There's this incredible quote from the Zohar that just says it all. The enlightened will shine like the Zohar, which means the splendor of the firmament, and the body will shine with that very same light. The line between body and soul, between matter and energy, it just blurs. The physical body itself becomes a vessel for and a perfect expression of brilliant divine light. You don't just have a soul anymore. Your entire being radiates soul light.
And there you have it. What a journey, right? We've gone deep into the Pardes, the mystical orchard of knowledge. We started with this huge cinematic vision. We translated it into a modern tech framework, and then we drilled down into the very source code, the divine architecture, the activation signals, and the perfected final product of this cosmic system restore. We've moved from a state of pure wonder to hopefully a more structured understanding.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of provocative thought to chew on. If we really take this analogy seriously, if our eternal soul is the persistent data, and our choices, our actions, our thoughts in this life, if that's the code we're writing day in and day out, then the question we really have to ask ourselves is this: what kind of program are we writing right now for our own system reboot?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We really hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.